together a common understanding of that sola scriptura. And it was not how it was passed on to us by Protestant and Catholic apologists. Okay? So, in a way, tama si Scott Hahn, it was not what Martin Luther intended. It's not what we see in the Bible. But we also recognize that throughout history, unfortunately, yun ang naipasa sa atin. Okay, Catholics and Protestants. Kaya nga, very important yung study, common study. And it's good that we have reached a common understanding when it comes to that. Now, does it lead us to finally recognizing each other? As I have said, sometimes theologically possible, but practically baka hindi na mangyari. Okay? Others? Yes.
Afternoon, Father, Noel Salvacion of Kairos. Father, we applaud so much how you have emphasized, especially the words of Pope 6, about love as the real basis of ecumenism. While we espouse it, Father, again, as I previously asked, there are some dogmas in our faith that we cannot, excuse the language, Father, you wouldn't like to use it, compromise. How can we really dialogue if until now, the excommunication of Martin Luther is not yet lifted? How do we really deal with them? And the anathema of the church, Father. So, I don't know if, yun nga, Father, sabi niyo na, almost till kingdom come na lang yata yung talagang we are working on. But how do we really dialogue with, when they know that such pronouncements of the church have not been lifted against their so-called founders and leaders, Father?
Pero we have to understand first,
Yes, Father.
what was the reason why it was excommunicated.
Yeah, Father, kasi
And how important is the lifting for...
Yes, Father. You ask us kung sino may mga kaibigan. Father, ako may mga kaibigan kong Methodist, being a theologian myself. And honestly, I cannot answer. Sabi niya, bro, nire-respeto niyo kami din, di ba? Pero, ngayon naman sa mata ng simbahan, ekskomunikado pa rin ang aming mga leader.
But Methodist is a different...
Yes, Father. No, I'm talking about such pronouncement of the church through the papal bulls. Father. So again, I'm trying to sow division, but please teach us how really we ought to respond to such. Because in their eyes, if we excommunicate their founders, leaders, they too must have been excommunicated, excluded from our company while we harp on dialogue.
Okay, so it is something that, first of all, you have to appreciate when it comes to excommunications, what are the grounds, in the same way that you cannot yung baga, while we recognize achievements when it comes to agreements, common agreements that we share, it is something that we really have to look into, because is it limited to theological convictions, yung excommunication? Is it limited to that? Hindi naman siguro. There are things, that are still being recognized. And looking at it also, since we have already achieved so much in the dialogue, makikita rin naman natin that excommunication was never a hindrance. We have achieved so much in the dialogue, even though may ganoon. And why can we not celebrate that. And for all we know, as we progress, and eventually, God willing, baka ma-lift. But it takes time. It takes time. We cannot just make a declaration in order to please each other. No? Because it's different, for example, when it comes to the Eastern Church, na talagang mutually merong mutual lifting of the excommunication. But it's different sa reality when it comes to the Protestants. Hindi pwedeng magkapareho, hindi ko mo inilift sa Eastern Church. Sa Western Division, yun din ang rules na ma-apply. So ganon, ano? While we recognize there are things that hinders us, but there are also more things, many other things that we can celebrate together. As I have said, throughout history naman, hindi naging hindrance yung excommunication na yun for us to be able to reach common agreements, joint declarations, which are, something to really celebrate. Kasi you can always argue, sa kaibigan, kailan nyo i-recognize ang Pope namin. No? So, it's something, no? na pilit pa rin din nilang iniintindi. Okay? Yeah, full communion is an full communion. What is our understanding of full communion? Does it mean return to Rome? But that we are treading the path together towards that is something that we can celebrate. Yes.
Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon, Father. I just want to, we have mentioned about mutual respect, for this ecumenism thing. I just want to share that in our parish, we have one big gathering on ecumenism.
Ano pong parish?
Santa Clara de Magdalena
Okay,
parish.
yes.
And then it was a big gathering, and then the other religions were there. But we made it a point, I remember, that the speaker was not from the parish itself, because most of us are Catholics, and we try to respect those from the other sect. And then they were speaking, no disagreements, but it was just more on the topic of Christ, one body of Christ together. And then after that gathering, and then the hi and hellos of all the people there, as if we belong to one in one religion. So I see that the beauty in that, we do not know if it will be successful at the time, but we were amazed that a lot of people came in from the different religion, and then we can feel the unity among all those attendees, and then the speakers that dominated the occasion were mostly from the other religion. And since we are most of us there are Catholics, so we don't want to make the impression that kami ang bida doon, ano? So sila ang nagsasalita, sila ang nag-reach out sa amin, sila ang sabi na we are all one. We are here as one body of Christ. And then our parish priest was so happy that it was so successful that as if we belong to one religion. And I see that gathering as a sign of not a contest of theology or whatever, but a gathering of unity and love among the Christians. Thank you.
Yeah. And what is beautiful is it was in the context of prayer. No? You gather together to pray. Okay? And if you gather together to pray, then definitely mawawala dun yung tendency na magpakita sino mas magaling. Because we are praying to one and the same Lord. And we profess our faith in Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay? So hopefully, hindi lang doon sa gathering na ganoon. But sana nanganak na when it comes to yung cooperation or when it comes to social issues doon sa area ninyo, common actions being done by Christians together. So, tingnan natin, mas maganda nga kung nakikita natin nagbubunga yung ating dasal with concrete things that we can do together. Yes?
Can we celebrate Mass with the Methodists?
Hindi po.
Anglicans?
Hindi po.
Kasi I think they are, sorry for the term, they are far more advanced than the Catholics. They have women priests. Deaconesses. We already have a woman bishop and married to the UCCP. I think I would not be blown enough to see the first woman Catholic. And they're all married.
Apo. That's how you appreciate it, but no? If you look at it as an advancement, then I respect you po.
I think it's higher than the three in Catholic Church.
No.
Some Methodist hyper masculine.
As Pope Francis would always say, Mary is greater than the bishops, and Mary was not a priest. No, so we have to appreciate the role of women, not only on the vantage point of ordained ministry, but look at it in a more a wider perspective. What is really their role in the propagation of the faith? And of course, malaki ding bagay yung our appreciation of the ordained ministry. Dahil hindi naman natin may tatanggi. Unfortunately, we have, in a way, parang celebrated it too much. So much so that we look at it. Kaya ang tao pag sinabing simbahan, pari lang, tsaka obispo eh. But when we speak of the church, it's the people of God. And yun nga eh, para bang magkakaroon lang ba ng dignidad ang babae kapag sila'y naging pari? Okay. Will they can they only be recognized and their important role in the propagation of the faith as missionaries if they are like men ordained? Do we give too much weight on the ordained ministry, so much so that we neglect also the common priesthood that we share together? Lahat naman tayo baptized to be priests, prophets, and kings and shepherds. We share that. So yun po, yung sa tanong ninyo, do we celebrate Mass with them? We cannot. Unfortunately, hindi pa po tayo nakakarating o doon to the point na we can say that we can celebrate the Eucharist together. Hindi lang dahil sa pagkapare, no? It also when it comes to our understanding of the Eucharist, the body and blood, about transubstantiation. Marami pong bagay. But, we can pray together. Always pray together. But, yun yung sinasabi ni Pope Benedict sa Verbum Domini, that we have to also respect respective yung traditions of our own traditions. While we celebrate, while we work on yung mga opportunities wherein we can pray together, we still respect each other's tradition. Hindi lang po tayong may tradisyon. Sila din merong tradition. I remember when St. Luke's Global was inaugurated, nagkaroon po ng blessing. And you know, St. Luke's is under the care of the Episcopalian. No? But they also invited yung mga pari po sa San Carlos Seminary. Malaki daw yung simbahan, pwede daw mag-bless. Some of my brother priests honored the invitation. Anyway, at least yung wing na yon Catholic. But but again, it's a blessing. It is something that we can. Hindi pwedeng i-differentiate yun. We're praying for God's blessing. Or we are thanking God for the blessing of a hospital. But it so happened na dumating yung mga kaibigan, ng mga kapatid kong pare, na meron pa silang celebration yung kanilang misa. Meron din silang communion, ha? And one of the priests was approached ng isa siguro, one of the lay persons in charge of the liturgy, sabi niya, Father, pwede po ba kayo mag-distribute ng communion? Sabi niya, naku, hindi pwede. No? Sabi ko, sana pumayag ka. Pero sinasabi mo, hindi to si Kristo. Hindi to si Kristo. Because we have a different understanding of the Eucharist. When they celebrated the Mass, it's not the same Mass. But, it was a joke, no? But, what is, merong big reality, sad reality. We cannot celebrate the Mass together. But, together, we can agree that that hospital is a blessing. And that is why it is but right to do the rites of blessing. So, sana, masyadong mahal yung hospital na yun. Okay. Yes po, sister.
Afternoon, Father, Sister Marlene RVM. I would like to thank you for your very informative and grace-filled sharing, Father. My comment, I just want to focus on what you said, which I heard you said, even the popes, Catholics like us, really ask for apology and forgiveness. We are so, parang mabait masyado tayo compared to them. And I also noticed when I attend prayer groups or gatherings that are ecumenist, there is ecumenism, and there are many ministers of different denominations and Catholics. Sometimes I feel so sad when it begins, even without the sign of the cross. So when we are in a gathering of ecumenism with other denominations, it's like we easily let go of our dear signs, like the sign of the cross. And I really feel sad about that. It's as if we are giving so much respect to them, when to the point that we give up on what is dear to us. Which really is the very heart of our faith. And is that really what we mean by ecumenism?
Answering your question, sister, hindi po. Because in a true ecumenical gathering, they won't mind if we do the sign of the cross. In as much, for example, as we will not mind if they, what what do they do? Raise their hands, no? Or give a genuflect in front of the sacred scriptures, no? Of the Bible open. In a true, no, ecumenical gathering, hindi ka mahihiya to do the sign of the cross. But of course, no, it's out of in a way, no, respect. No? But kasi hindi lang naman laging tayo. No? We recognize that our brothers and sisters who are from other Christian churches and non-Catholic Christians who appreciate truly, no, yung ecumenism, wouldn't mind kung makita nila tayo mag-sign of the cross. For example, no, just recently sa Focolare, no, we had one Focolarino who died, no, and there was, because he was very much involved in the ecumenical work, no, yung Christian group offered to do, no, yung common worship, no? But after that, naiwan yung mga Catholics and we celebrated the Mass. There was no issue. They did not insist na atin kami ng misa nyo. No, they knew because they are into the work of ecumenism. They knew they cannot insist on participating in our Mass because that is something that we hold on as precious. But we pray together before the Mass, and that is something that they appreciate. For sa isang Katolikong ililibing, nakapag-alay sila ng dasal. Now that is ecumenism, no? So yun po, sister, it's not tayo na lang balagi ang magbibigay. No, I think if people, whether Catholics or non-Christian Catholics, if they truly appreciate ecumenism, hindi tayo mahihiya, no, to do what is dear to us. For example, no, in ecumenical youth gatherings, no, magkakaroon ng space, no, for example, for Catholics to pray their rosary without insisting na, sumama kayo sa amin, mag-rosary kayo. No. Isang bagay na, but still we can do it. We don't just impose it. Hindi lang natin i-impose sa kanila. Okay. Minsan merong lumapit sa akin, no? Pinanganak siya as evangelical kung pamilya. Wala siyang idea kung ano ang misa. Kaya nagpaalam siya sa akin, Brother, pwede ba ako umattend ng misa mo? Titignan ko lang kung ano ang ginagawa niyo. Observe. But he respected. Lumuluhod siya kung kinakailangan lumuhod. Uupo siya kung kailangan umupo. But of course, hindi siya pipila for communion because he understands he cannot. Pwede rin natin gawin yun. You can join, no? For example, a prayer service, a worship service. As an observer, pray together. It's praying. Anyway. Yes, Father.
Father, I just would like to ask, yung ecumenism po ba, Father, ito po ba ay nakakonfine lamang sa Trinitarian, not on the Unitarian? What, for example, can we be ecumenized, quote-unquote, with the Iglesia ni Cristo, with the Kibuloy group, with those faiths in the Protestant Church that espouse yung justification and by faith alone, and those who do not adhere to this tenet are non-Christians, and those who are not, for example, Calvinists, we are not, they are not saved, and we Catholics we are not Christians. And what about the Mormons? They call themselves Christians as well. And also the Jehovah's Witnesses, they also call themselves Christians. Can we be ecumenized with them? Or the ecumenism movement vis-a-vis from the Catholic side to there, is it only confined with the Trinitarian groups, Father?
Okay. Well, when we speak of Christian unity, maliwanag po no, na it is among churches who profess in the faith in the Trinity.
Okay,
Okay,
so
that
it
is Christian
confined.
companya.
Okay,
But,
so
but it doesn't mean that we will not exert effort in reaching out also to those. But we cannot apply the same principles.
Okay, so we can be in the far future, or probably not in the near future, we can be also be dealing with these non-Trinitarian sects, and then consider them as if they are Methodist, Lutherans, or the Trinitarian.
Basta ang mangyayari po ganito, no? Ecumenism, the work of Christian unity is, we recognize, this is among churches or Christians who profess faith in the Trinity. Now, if we engage ourselves in dialogue with those who do not profess faith in the Trinity, it should be of different, we should be using a different approach. We cannot apply the same approach, no? Yung tinatawag po na ecumenical means among Christians. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Father.
Which I think, kasi hindi rin naman tayo only in dialogue with Christians. We are also in dialogue with other religions. No? So meron din tayong commission on interreligious dialogue. So if we can dialogue with Buddhists, Muslims, okay, Hindus, why can we not also initiate dialogue with Unitarians? Nothing prevents us, but of course, dito kasi sa Christian work of Christian unity, ecumenism, napakahalaga po yung relationship, yung friendship. Ibig sabihin, may mutual respect. So unless that is achieved, yeah.
Yes. Can I suggest an exemption, Father? Can you exempt Apollo Kibuloy with this? Just joking, Father.
Yeah, pwede naman po, but a different approach. I mean, you cannot approach, for example, yung mga Iglesia ni Cristo in the way that we deal with Aglipayans. Mga Aglipay. Aminin ko po sa inyo, on my mother side ko po, ang dami kong kamag-anak Aglipay. And yung grandparents ko nga they were about to celebrate their 50th anniversary, no? Sa kanilang wedding, 60th, so diamond. Doon na namin nalaman na Aglipay pala sila kasal. Aglipay pala yun. Because at a certain point sa period, we recognized their baptism. And for us, sa family, parang lagi nila sinasabi, pareho lang yan eh. Pareho lang yan. So we deal with the Aglipayans differently. Tapos, sa Iglesia ni Cristo, differently. Hindi pwedeng pareho. Dahil magkaiba sila. In the same way that we do not deal with mainline Protestants, in the same way that we deal with evangelicals, yung mga born again po. It's different. Kasi sila non-denominational. They don't even recognize yung whether you're Lutheran and Anglican. Sa kanila lahat, welcome. So they have a different understanding of ecclesiology. But it doesn't mean na hindi tayo makikipag-dialogue sa kanila.
We have room for one last question. Sino po? Sino po? Ang leader.
Good afternoon, Father. I'm Jane from San Roque de Campamag Parish. Okay. The Bible unites all Christians, Catholics, and Protestants alike, and we know that the Bible books were collated and translated by Saint Jerome. However, since the Protestant Reformation, our separated brothers and sisters have been using the Bible against us, accusing us of being idolaters, of adding books into the Bible, etc. Up to this day, we are still being bashed. How can we practice ecumenism when dealing with the scriptures? Thank you.
Okay. First, we have to recognize the truth. No? In history, the Bible has been used against us, no? To debunk our teachings and our doctrines and our dogmas. But many things have changed. At least when it comes to yung mainline Protestant, as I have said, no, meron tayong mga achievements na hindi na tayo, I mean, if ever nakakaranas tayo ngayon ng gumagamit ng Bible against us, it would not be, no, those who we are dealing with when it comes to Christian unity. Baka nga yung tinatawag ng mga Unitarians, no, sila na. Okay, so how do we how do we now use the Bible in dealing with them? Sabi mo, sa ecumenism. First, you have to understand and appreciate what is written in the Bible and be convinced that what we hold on to as dear to us is enshrined in the teachings of the sacred scriptures. At hindi totoo yung sinasabi nila na, na we go against what the Bible is teaching. First, you have to be convinced about that. How much do you appreciate your scriptures? How knowledgeable are you, and how clear is it to you na lahat ng ating pinananaligan, pinangahawakan, ay nakaugat, at nakabase. Its foundations are in sacred scriptures. If you are that convinced, then kahit ano sabihin nila, because we are knowledgeable and alam natin na isasagot, then it would not be a problem. Okay? So, yun. So, begin by appreciating your scriptures. Personally, be convinced na ang pagiging Katoliko mo ay nakaugat sa nasasaad sa banal na kasulatan. Everything that we believe in. And well-meaning Christians would respect. Minsan nakakalungkot no, kapag ginamit natin ang sacred scriptures against each other. Okay?
Now may I call again Mr. Raywell, Rito, and Senyo to do the honor of the awarding of the certificate for our main speaker. And may we also ask Dr. Rito V. Baring to accompany Mr. Senyo for the awarding.
The Salle University College of Liberal Arts, Theology and Religious Education Department, in cooperation with the Religious Educators Association of the Philippines, awards this Certificate of Appreciation to Reverend Father Rolando P. Garcia, Jr. for his invaluable contribution as speaker in the Summer Institute on Sacred Scriptures 2017 with the theme, The Bible and the Church, the Parish and the Catholic Reformation. Given the 6th day of May 2017 at the Yuchengco Seminar Rooms 407 to 409, De La Salle University, Manila, Philippines. Signed by yours truly, and by the Trend Chairperson, Dr. Rito B. Baring. Let's give Father Rolly Garcia a round of applause.
The celebration of the Holy Eucharist will be held at the Pearl of the Great Price Chapel, located at the ground floor west wing of the Salle building. You may now proceed to the venue. Thank you very much.
Maybe also just add and give the same certificate to Ms. Edith of the Episcopal Commission on Ecumenical Affairs, ESEA, in the front with Dr. Baring.
Reminders from the organizing committee for the evaluation form. You are required to fill up the learnings for today. Thank you very much.